Hello, Gareth here. So in today's lesson, we're going to paint this. So this is a Japanese torii. And although this painting looks quite complicated, it's actually quite simple. So the inspiration for this painting came from this. And this I did maybe quite a few years ago. I forget now, but I think it's quite old. Anyway, this is actually a failed painting. So originally I had painted a sky, then this grass, and at this point I think I decided the picture was a failure and I was going to throw it away. But what I did was a doodle on top of it in the light area, and it ended up looking really good. So that's where the inspiration came for this painting. So there's a few points you can learn from this. The first one is to recycle your failed paintings. Don't just throw them away. So what you can do is doodles over the top of them. So that's the second point. So it doesn't have to be a Japanese torii. You can do figures, you can do dogs, ships, boats, houses on tops of hills, things like that. And as you can imagine, it's going to be a lot of good practice. And also, my arms are getting a bit tired. Also, there's not a lot of pressure on you because you can just throw it away afterwards because it's already a failed painting that you're working over the top of. So there's no stress and you can experiment more as a result of that. So I hope that's helpful. And also, one more point is you might end up with a happy combination of a failed painting and a doodle that somehow end up working together and looking really good. So I recommend that. Also, there's a list of the materials I'll be using in the description box. So let's begin, and please have a go. It really isn't that difficult, and it's so important to practice as much as possible if you want to get good at watercolor painting. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, let's begin. First, I'm going to do a very loose drawing. So the head height of the figures is roughly the same. This is a child, so it's lower. Figures are quite simple, just a little dot for a head, then this body thing, it's kind of a squarish shape, and then some legs. And you can make them bigger. And they will have reflections. That's quite nice. Okay, let's do the sky. So, big mop brush, yellow ochre, then Pyrrole red, you have to do this fairly quickly because the paint is drying out. Then reflection, yellow ochre again. Beautiful colours, right? Pyrrole red, and then this is fun. Small bamboo brush, touch of the yellow ochre, and this. And maybe get a little bit of yellow ochre. This is a bit tricky. Dab on the rag. Let's do this. I like to do this. Okay, it's drying a bit, so just spray. Now the purple clouds. So small bamboo brush, cerulean blue, alizarin crimson. It's a quick one, this. Burnt sienna, a touch. More cerulean blue. This one looks quite purple. If I add more burnt sienna, it will become more brown. More of a bruised looking colour. And here we go. Like that. a bit up here. And let's try here. Yeah, it's still quite wet. And then reflections. So you might want to make a big mix because I soon ran out. And if it takes you a long time to make your mix, then that's a big problem because everything's drying out. Okay, let's spray. So I spray horizontally and not directly at the paper. And just one or two sprays. Tissue, I folded it. This is a lot of fun. So the important thing is, and this is so crucial, is just to enjoy the process. Enjoy the effects you are creating. Don't worry about how does it look, because if you get good at the techniques, then eventually the painting will be good, or some of them will be. So just enjoy the process. Have fun. If you overdo it, don't give yourself a hard time. It's all about learning and having fun. You could also do this using a slightly damp brush. So if you want to try that, go ahead. I do that as well sometimes. Okay, so I wet this, dab on the rag. That's crucial because it's too wet at first. And we're just going to make this look a bit more interesting. And again, creating an interesting effect. And there we go. Let's leave that to dry. But you can see this painting is more interesting, and it's important to ask why. And I think it's because the clouds are darker. So here they're lighter. So this has much more drama because of that, well, because of those dark clouds, yeah. So maybe I needed more burnt sienna in my clouds. But I'm still happy with it, and it was a lot of fun. So it has dried. I like these clouds more than these because they're so dark. So I'm going to darken these. So what I do is wet the clouds. With a big flat brush. Get my small mop brush. Okay, maybe let's use phthalo blue, stronger blue, alizarin crimson, and burnt sienna. Wow, now we've got a much darker colour. Let's test it. Maybe dab on the rag. It acts as a break. And here too. Then I'll add a little bit of water, dab on the rag for something a bit softer. Maybe have a few beautiful brush strokes which add drama to the painting. Yeah, I think that's better. So much more powerful. And after it's dried, it will be a bit fainter as well. So remember that. It might look too much at first, but after it's dried, it will be a lot softer and fainter. So water, dab on the rag. And I might, we've got a gap here, so I might do that. So let's leave that to dry. These clouds are still better than these because if you look, there's these lovely little gaps which really make it beautiful. It gives it that ephemeral feeling. I'm trying to create that a bit with some tissue. Okay, let's leave that to dry then. I guess I should indicate these patches down here if I can. Big bamboo brush, Pyrrole red, If you go over, use some tissue. Okay, then let's just add some black, lamp black, see what happens. Red. Reflection. Then cerulean blue. a little bit thick, a little bit. Dab on the rag. And then add some Pyrrole red. Tiny bit of black. Leave it to dry. Small bamboo brush. Phthalo blue. Alizarin crimson. Burnt sienna. Dark black or dark grey colour we want. Okay, some of my figures are too high and they look like they're in the sea, so I'll make them longer. Ooh, too much water. I don't know why, but I think the lightness on my light keeps changing. It's unbelievable. Bit annoying. I think I fixed my light problem. We will see. Okay. These figures are a bit too high, I think. They should be, the head level should be here, but there you go. And maybe the C should be a bit lower. But I'm doing this from imagination, so, well, from memory. It's all good practice. Okay. And then let's do reflections. So make this a little bit watery. Keep it simple. water, dab on the rag, and maybe just do this a little bit. Break it up a little bit. All fun stuff. It's not easy, but if you can, try to do it in a fairly quick and loose way. Because it will look so much better than if you're really careful and tight. Yeah, that's quite nice, I think. Okay, let's leave that to dry. Something quite beautiful about it, right? Maybe it looks a bit too posy and not so natural, but still, I'm quite happy with it. Let's add some colour to the figures. Small bamboo brush, cerulean blue, yellow ochre, cobalt green, burnt sienna. Pyrrole red. Maybe also touch this up a little bit. Blend it in. Lamp black. So if you make a mistake, just dab it with some tissue. And the sooner you can do it, the better. So let's leave that to dry. I might just use some of this dark mix here and darken the back of his cap. Maybe also here. Then cerulean blue with a touch of alizarin crimson. That was too much. There we go, something like that. Nope, too much red. Add some blue. And then just get rid of this pure white. Yeah, and now let's leave it to dry. So just adding the faces, I'm using yellow ochre and Pyrrole red. Got some interesting figures. Now, white paint. It's a little bit hard, so I've got to press down quite firmly. Get rid of this hair, if possible. Wow. Wipe on the rag so I get a nice sharp pointed tip. So the sun is there. So it's not easy to do, but you want to try and do this quite loosely. It kind of goes against how you want to be. You want to be really careful, you feel, but if you can do it loosely, even though it's a little bit off, it just looks better. At least that's what I think. But I still find myself getting caught up and trying to be really careful. So it's a bit tricky to have that looseness. And when you are loose, it is going to be a bit off. You're not always going to get the white paint in the right place. But as long as it's not too far away from where it should be, might be a good idea to accept it, and it might even be more interesting as a final painting. And you can always go back into it and just, where you've got some white paint on a figure and it's not quite right, you can always go back and get rid of it like that. When it's over outside the figure, it's a bit more tricky. Well, a lot trickier. This looks like a super big camera, but there we go. Finishing touches. Wow, that's a lot of blue paint. So this is white mixed with a bit of grey, some grey mix. That's good. Some of my figures are a little bit boring, to be honest. Okay, and I'm quite happy with that. Finished. So that's it. I really hope you had a go. Please have a go, yeah? That's how you get better. And if you did have a go, please leave me a comment. Please, it really helps me out. So yeah, please leave me a comment. And I also do lessons. So if you're interested in that, there'll be a link in the description box. And I'll be back again soon with another fun watercolor lesson. So that's it. Bye for now. And wherever you are, I hope life is good. Goodbye.